Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I have 8 new Dollar Tree Valentine's Day DIYs for you. The theme today is Neutral Valentine's Day, and I really hope you enjoy these DIYs. For this DIY, I wanted to make a Valentine's Day tree. So I went to my yard and I tried to find an old stick, something that had a lot of branches, because I want to make a fun heart tree with this. It's got a pretty straight stick here, but it's a little too long. So I'm just going to go ahead and break that. And we're going to display it here in this gorgeous pink bottle that I found from the Dollar Tree. Even though I'm doing a neutral Valentine's Day color scheme, I tried to mix in a little bit of blush pink that is also neutral. And as long as you're avoiding like the bright pinks and the reds, I thought this would make everything a little bit more colorful. So the first thing I'm going to do is fill the little pink glass bottle up with sand. I chose white sand so it would really not take away from that beautiful color, but fill it up with something that I can nest the stick down into, and that's heavy enough to keep it upright so that I can hang heart ornaments all over it. And I went ahead and put the branch in there and then filled it all the way to the top. I thought I needed it to make this sturdy, and I filled it all the way to the top with the sand. They have some beautiful pink glass bottles from the Dollar Tree, so be sure to look for those at your store. All of the items I used today were regular Dollar Tree items, not specifically Valentine's Day. And we're going to make the ornaments from the little chalkboard tags from the Crafter Square. I like the fact that they already have a hole drilled into them, and I'm going to cover them with neutral fabrics. Like this burlap bag, this is the faux burlap bag from the Dollar Tree. You could also use real burlap. The great thing about this is that I don't have to worry about it fraying. It has a light plastic coating on the back of it. I use this all the time for crafting. I want to make a bunch of the ornaments with the burlap. That's perfect for neutral Valentine's Day. The other item, I think got this at Michael's. It's fabric, but it was in like the scrapbook paper aisle, and it kind of has like a drop cloth appearance. I thought it was nice and thick, and the color was very neutral. I wanted a lot of like tans, textures, and ivory in today's DIY. So I'm just going to use the little chalkboard tag for reference. And I'm just going to draw on the back of the burlap here on that plastic surface. And I just use an ink pen. I'm going to try to fit as many as I can on one of these sheets. I think the tree branch is large enough to support a lot of ornaments, and I like odd numbers. So I think I'll do 5 of them in burlap and maybe 3 in the ivory material. So I'm going to need a total of 10 hearts drawn on here because I do want to cover the front and the back. Since it's going to be like a Valentine's Day tree display, you might be able to see the side or the back of the ornaments, and I wanted them both to be covered with fabric. Now, the great thing about these burlap bags from the Dollar Tree Crafter Square is that they're so easy to cut out. It's, as you can see, you get a perfect cut, no fraying, but you still get that great burlap texture. I was worried that you are going to be able to see the black chalkboard like and the lines on the heart through the burlap fabric. You can see through it a little bit, so I am going to have to probably paint one side of these at least to be able to cover these. There's other options for hearts too that you could use. They have a lot of like heart ornaments at the Dollar Tree. A lot of them had words or cutouts on them though. I just wanted a plain heart like this, and so the chalkboard tags were a little bit easier for me. So this was a lot of cutting out of hearts, but I'm going to go ahead and do 2 for each of these, so a total of 5 of the burlap tags, and I want to be able to hang them. They do come with little pieces of twine, and I think that's going to be perfect to make these into little ornaments. When I first thought about doing burlap hearts, I thought about stuffing them with like maybe a little polyfill or cotton balls, but I ended up wanting more of a flat design. And so I'm just going to glue them directly onto the wood tags. It's going to make them nice and sturdy and lots of texture, but more flat. But you could totally stuff them if you wanted. You're just going to have to cut your hearts a little bit bigger for sure. Now, this material is really interesting. Again, I think it's more like a drop cloth material. It didn't really say on it what it was, but I was interested in it because I thought it would be great for crafting. And we're going to do a total of 3 of these hearts, so I need to cut out a total of 6 of these. And then we can cover those, hang them all over the Valentine's Day tree. and it turned out so cute. I've done versions of trees like this for like Halloween, fall, stuff like that. But I thought this was a really fun idea for a neutral Valentine's Day DIY. So I just went ahead and cut all of those out. Again, lots of preparation on this, but otherwise it was a really easy DIY. So let's go ahead and get these wood tags ready. The wood side is perfect. It's this side that worried me that you were going to be able to see that it was a little bit darker or might be able to see the little stitching lines on there. And so I'm just going to mask that with like one coat of white acrylic paint. I'm not trying to go for full coverage or anything like that. I just wanted to try to make that black a lot more neutral so it won't show through the fabric. Then once I get them painted, I am going to Mod Podge the fabric on. So I'm just going to flip it over here, add quite a bit of Mod Podge. I want to make sure that this is completely stuck on there and that I won't have any like bubbling or anything like that with the material. And again, the burlap side up, I'm just going to glue the hearts onto all of these. I do need a total of 5. So I'm going to do 5 of this one. And then the other ones are going to be the ivory fabric. Now, there's lots of options you could use for the ivory fabric. I was looking for something that wasn't specifically tan, but if you were just going to use burlap, you could use like a white burlap. That would be really good too, or like some kind of an ivory burlap. It does come in different colors sometimes, so that is an option. And that's probably what I would have used if I didn't use the faux burlap. But I wanted them to be a little bit different with their textures. And now that I have them all covered with fabric on one side, I just flipped them over and Mod Podged the rest of these really easy. I used a little sponge brush to make sure I get good coverage. Those are my absolute favorite to craft with. I've actually started buying those in bulk on Amazon. I think they're a little bit cheaper than they are at the Dollar Tree now. And then I went ahead and covered my ivory ones here too. And I think that's going to be plenty of ornaments for this tree. Now, I chose these ornaments because they were just solid hearts, but also because they had holes in them already. So I'm just going to take a large needle. This is like one of those like upholstery needles, but it is large enough to be able to string twine through. And I did that so I could easily put that through and just tied off my first ornament. We're going to go through and do the same thing here on all 8 of the ornaments. I just strung the twine through, tied them in a simple knot here at the top, and the needle worked perfectly for this. I don't know how else I would have been able to get that through there so well, especially through the fabrics. Now, to put these on the tree, let me switch cameras so that you can see a little bit better here. I'm just going to alternate. So I'm going to alternate like the little burlap ones, the little ivory fabric ones, and just kind of hang them all over. You can make this, like this is kind of a medium-sized project. You can make it larger or smaller, depending on like what branch you're going to use or what you can find. I always crack myself up out looking for sticks. We have only palm trees in our yard, but sometimes my neighbor's tree drops little branches into the very back of my yard. So I had to go out and look for those. And this is how it turned out. My little neutral Valentine's Day heart tree. So many fun textures on this with an actual tree branch and the different fabrics and burlaps, but also a little touch of pink there for Valentine's Day with that beautiful glass jar for the base. Really cute, and this would go with just about any decor. Hey guys, if you're enjoying today's video, be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. We are almost to 50,000 subscribers, and I would really appreciate it if you would hype today's video. Now, I really love the heart tree, but I thought it needed a tray or a base, something to display it on. These are the like 5-inch wood circles from Michaels. They're only like $1.49, so pretty much Dollar Tree pricing, but it's a little bit chunkier and larger than the one from the Dollar Tree. So I just went ahead and removed the tag, and I want to cover it with this seagrass or like raffia material. I'm going to use one of the woven chargers from Dollar General and some wood beads for the feet. We're going to do a little DIY tray. Now I am going to cover the top of it with that great charger material, but I wanted to go ahead and stain the sides of it. I didn't want it to be a super dark stain though, so I took mostly water, a little bit of Antique Wax by Waverly, and stained that. I don't really need to stain the top and the bottom of it, but since it's so liquidy, it kind of dripped, so I just went ahead and did that. And then I went ahead and added a little ivory paint with some antique wax by Waverly to try to weather these little wood beads from the Dollar Tree for feet. I thought if I distressed them with that, I could get something with the neutral Valentine's Day color scheme that would go better with the tray. I ended up not using them. I didn't really like the way that they turned out, but I did try to lighten them up a little bit here with some paint. The woven charger is a pretty generic product that you can find at a lot of stores. I got those half price at Dollar General, so I think I got them for like $1.50 a piece, so a really good deal for this material. Now, I really only want the center part of it to cover the tray because I only need it to be that large, but I really can't waste this like crafting material. So what I'm going to do is cut the little plastic threads holding this all together so that I can use this like raffia material for future DIYs. So I found it easier to just cut the plastic threads, and I'm going to go ahead and mark out how big I need this to be here with a Sharpie around my circle right here, centering that on the tray to give me this little woven tray. This DIY worked out really well. It was a lot of work probably cutting this apart, but I couldn't let this craft material go to waste. I thought it would be perfect. Some things like the Dollar Tree ones, you can just pull on the plastic string. This one, I had to physically cut the entire thing, and it did leave a lot of pieces of little plastic sticking out. As you can see, plastic threads. So I will have to clean that up for sure. I'm trying to get this to the right size, but also trying to keep like one piece going around the edges of this. And I think I've about got it to size. I may have cut it even a little too short. So I have a little piece there I can add back on it. These are the little plastic strings that I was talking about. Not super great and kind of difficult to trim off, but I did start with trimming it, and I can always try to burn those off too. I'm going to attach the little woven placemat here with some hot glue where I can have it shorter here on one side so I can continue that piece on. You won't really be able to tell. I'm just going to glue that as that one piece continued to get that perfect circular shape there for the center of the charger. Again, once I got it on there, I tried to trim it a little bit, but I think I'm going to have to burn a lot of those off because those little plastic thread pieces sticking out were really bothering me. Otherwise, the material looks great. I thought it would be cute to add one of these little wood bead garlands from the Dollar Tree too, the ones that are like a circle with just a tassel on the end. And I brought out my lighter to see if I could burn those little plastic pieces off, and that did work. I mean, they don't burn quite as easily if it would have been just string material, but I was able to clean that up. Now, I let the paint dry on these wood beads and I just did not like them. They were too dark before. Now they just kind of look weird, distressed. So I'm just going to use wood beads. These are the cube wood beads from the Dollar Tree and the wood bead garland. And I'm just going to take those off and glue 4 of these on for little tray feet here. And I like the natural wood that's going to go great with the neutral Valentine's Day color scheme today. Sure to glue them like holes down like that so you won't be able to see any weird holes in those from the front or the sides. Now I'm going to go in there and try to clean this up a little bit more. I tried to just burn off any of the plastic that I saw sticking out, and I think it looks pretty good right now. So I'm going to display that heart tree on this along with this little wood bead garland with the tassel, which is super cute. And I think the whole thing is going to go together really well and make the heart tree really shine. So let me show you what it looks like all together with my little heart tree on this little woven tray. I think that is perfect. It's a perfect size and I love all of the textures. Isn't that so cute? I think that's so fun for neutral Valentine's Day. For this DIY, check out this candle I found at Dollar Tree. It's called Candy Strawberry. It's that beautiful light pink glass with the hearts on it. It is a 2-wick candle and it was $5, but look how beautiful this is. Like, even when the candle's gone, I might make my own candle in it because it's so pretty. Now, I thought we could make it a really fun Valentine's Day stand with a neutral Valentine's Day theme by using a heart sign and one of their candle holders. I thought that candle holder was really interesting. It's like a glass material that's tinted brown. And so I thought that would go great with the neutral color scheme today. For the heart sign, I'm just going to go ahead and remove the little beaded hanger from it. I want to just lay that flat on the candle holder to make a fun tray. And so I just removed the hanger, and while I'm at it, I'm just going to go ahead and remove the staples too. My trick for that is a Cricut weeder and a pair of pliers. Then I thought it would be fun to trim it with some lace. This is some Dollar Tree lace in this ivory color. And I'm going to put this all around the edges of the heart sign. So we'll kind of go over the side so that my tray will look a little bit heftier than just a thinner sign like this. And I love the fact that one side of this is flat, the other side is a little ruffly. And so I'm just going to hot glue that all the way around. I was sure to start at the tip of it so I'll be able to blend it where it starts and stops. And I just did one section here at a time so that my hot glue would not start to set up. And it gave me plenty of time to put this on here. This is such an easy tray to make. I think it turned out so cute. These heart signs are not Valentine's Day. These are just heart signs that I found in the regular crafter square aisle at Dollar Tree. But the candle was with the new Valentine's Day stuff at my store. When I saw that soft blush pink color on that candle, I just knew I had to do something with it. So this is what we're going to do. We're just going to attach the sign to the glass. Since I am gluing glass, I'm going to use a stronger glue, like this Gorilla Glue Clear Grip, and I'm going to put that on the glass to make this a little bit more permanent than just using hot glue. And I'm just going to kind of center that, put that right on there. Now, I always like to use a little hot glue too to get us started and allow the other glue to dry, and I can keep DIYing. So I did just go around the very edge and do a thin bead of hot glue too, just to get us started with that so that I can show you how cute the candle looks on this tray while the glue still sets up. The candle itself is perfection. Candied strawberry. The label looks kind of fancy on it too. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and leave that on there instead of trying to take that off. I don't want to leave any kind of residue on that beautiful pink glass. And our tray is ready. I'm just going to display this right on here. It's a large candle, and so it takes up almost the entire tray. This is how it turned out. It does have a lid to keep the scent in there, but this is what it looks like without a lid. With that beautiful blush pink candle, with that glass, it's so pretty. The fun heart tray. This was so easy to make, as you can see, and it turned out so cute. So keep an eye out for these candles and the little candle holder that I used down below. Both really fun. Let me show you what this candle looks like lit up. It's a 2-wick, which is kind of interesting. A lot of candles are 3-wick, but I think it is so beautiful. Let me show you what the candle looks like lit up on our cute little Valentine's Day tray. I think the lace looks very neutral, but also really romantic there on our little heart-shaped tray. And this is going to be perfect for neutral Valentine's Day. This is what it looks like during the day, and this is what it looks like lit up at night. Super cute. What do you think about this one? For this DIY, I'm going to use one of the love signs from the Dollar Tree. Now, I looked and looked, and almost all of them had the letters glued on crookedly. This one was the best, with the E being the most crooked. They're very hard to remove, so you have to be really careful when you're doing this. This is not a Valentine's Day product. This is from the Crafter Square. I'm just using a little icing tool from the cake aisle at the Dollar Tree and my heat gun, and I'm getting it as hot as I can and being very careful because I did not want to break the letters, because of course I still want it to say love, but I wanted my letter to not be crooked if at all possible. I was able to get it off there pretty clean, and I think if I add this straight, the rest of them will look a lot better. Now, I wish Dollar Tree would let us glue these letters on ourselves, because I do want to decorate the background of this a little bit differently. And it does make them super hard to paint and stuff like that, but it is what it is. And I don't want to take all of the letters off because it's very risky. I've had those things break before. I'm going to add hot glue to the back of my letter E and add it back to the love word here on the sign. Now, these are made out of wood. You could stain those, but since I'm going to paint the background, I thought it would be easier just to paint everything, but I can leave the wood frame. The wood frame is perfect for the neutral color scheme for Valentine's Day, so I'm definitely going to protect that. So I'm just going to use some painter's tape. A fun trick with that too is to kind of tape it down to your surface so your project doesn't move around and we can start painting these. Now I do want that neutral Valentine's Day color scheme, so I'm going to do the entire back of the sign in an ivory color. This is like an antique white, I think, by Apple Barrel. And I started with a brush. These are some brushes that I was testing on Amazon. I don't think I put these on my Amazon shop because I am not impressed with them. They leave a lot of bristles and I hate that. But I thought that a brush would be able to get down in between the letters and in between the different planks of wood on the sign a little bit better. So I did a first attempt to do it with the brush, but I probably lost like 15 bristles on this that I was having to remove from the project. So I switched it up to a sponge brush and then a little tiny paintbrush here to get in between the crevices here between the boards. Paint's going to drip down in there. So I just thought it would be great to have it all the same color. I want it all to be ivory. Now, what makes these signs so tricky to paint, the background, is that your paint will like pool up a little bit around the letters where the letters move and the little crevices and stuff like that. And so I just used a small sponge, went around all of the edges of the letters and tried to make sure that I didn't have any paint pooling anywhere. It can be really easy to miss that. And we are covering that dark wood color. So I am going to have to go over this with several coats of ivory paint to, brighten it up and try to make it look like it's all one color. I originally wanted to do a spackle texture on the back of the sign, but having the letters glued onto the sign like that, I thought that was going to make it so complicated. So I decided just to do paint on the back of it. I dried it. You could still see a few areas. So I'm just going to go in and touch up any areas where I could see a little bit of brown coming through. But I think that looks pretty good. So now we have the wood frame. We have the ivory back on this, and then we can do the love letters in another color. I did paint them ivory just because it's kind of impossible not to get paint on them. And then I'm going to go over it with a blush pink. I got a paint sample from my hardware store, and I think this was Delicioso or something like that. Very, 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 very soft pink, but it was way too soft. So I'm going to add a little bit more pink to it to give it a little bit more of a pink. Sometimes the pink can be so light that you can't really tell the difference between that and the ivory, right? So I added some more pink, kind of made a custom color here. And I'm using one of those little sponge brushes to carefully paint my letters. I was trying not to get any on the background that I just painted white. And so I was being very careful and using a small brush for this. I did pretty good and I was pretty confident until I got to the E. And then, of course, I got a little bit of paint on it there. But I was able to clean that up pretty easily with a baby wipe. And I'm going to touch it up with a little ivory so you won't be able to tell. But as you can see, it is still neutral Valentine's Day because the pink is so soft. Let's go ahead and remove the painter's tape. This did a pretty good job protecting our frame. I just had a little bit of paint here that I needed to clean up. Now, I did want to add a little texture to this, so I'm going to add a little burlap heart. I thought that would be cute. I'm just going to cut a little scrap piece of burlap here using some Dollar Tree burlap and a Dollar Tree little wood heart. This is one of the little wood hearts that come in the packages with the Valentine's Day stuff. And I am going to put a rather thick coat of Mod Podge on here and just glue directly the square of burlap on here. And then I Mod Podged over the top of it to make sure that it lays flat and it glues on. That will dry clear. Once I get it dry with my heat gun, then I can go in and cut it. This is going to seal the burlap and prevent any fraying around the edges. It was a little tricky to get right here in the middle of the heart, but it looks woven. It looks so cool like that. And then I'm just going to hot glue it here in the corner so I don't really cover up the word, just a fun little burlap accent. Then I thought it would be fun to add a few wood beads to the hanger just to dress it up a little bit. This was the hanger that was already on the sign. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove the staple from one side. I can use the existing twine and then I can just add more wood beads to it. Sometimes I don't like too many wood beads on there. I think 6 is going to be fine. That way I can do like 3 wood beads on each side. And I'm just using the natural wood because I really wanted to keep that neutral color scheme on this one. So let's add all 6 beads. And then I'm going to go in here with my staple gun, make sure that I get it on the frame using some shorter staples to be able to glue that on there. I didn't have really enough room to knot the twine, so I just made sure it was attached with a little hot glue here on the back as well. And this Valentine's Day sign is complete. This looks so cute. The advantage of the neutral Valentine's Day color scheme is that it's going to go with really whatever decor you have, and it's not going to clash with things. This is how it turned out, our little love sign. I really love how it turned out. The colors are perfect, and the little burlap heart there just finishes it off. And it was really so easy to make, just a little bit of painting there on the sign itself. But this was a fun DIY using the love sign from the Dollar Tree. For this DIY, we're going to make a little candle. I picked up this pink glass candle holder and this taper candle holder from the Dollar Tree that is a clear glass. I thought I could combine the two to make this look like a little Valentine's Day lantern. I always love all the interesting glass candlesticks they have from the Dollar Tree, and this one is really different. It is kind of shaped like a UFO, but it's a really shiny, like clear glass material. And I think that's going to look really cute combined with this beautiful soft pink glass candle holder. I just need to put it together. Now, this is going to be like the section in between. This would normally hold a candle, but this is going to be the base for my candle holder. And I want to add some fun neutral Valentine's Day texture to it. So I just hot glued on a little twine, and I'm going to simply wrap that around and cover the entire part of this candlestick with this burlap material. And then I thought we could add some fun hearts to this as well. I want to go all the way to the top of it. I want to make sure I don't go over though. So I did hot glue it here on the top row. I want to have the glass exposed so I'll be able to glue the two glass candle holders together to make this lantern look. Once I got it wrapped with the twine, I just went around and burned off any fuzzies there with a lighter. And then we're going to add the hearts. These are the little tiny wooden hearts from the Crafter Square at the Dollar Tree. You get 100 of them in a bag, so I think that's a really good deal. And I think I have room for 4. So I think I'm going to go like all 4 sides of the candle holder with one of those little hearts. I'm going to leave them the natural wood and just hot glue those on. So every side of this little Valentine's Day lantern will have a cute little heart on it. Very neutral Valentine's Day there for the base. So easy. I noticed a little bit of strings hanging out from the burlap, so I'm going to go over that with my lighter one more time. But I think it's ready to attach to the little pink candle holder, which is also that light pink color. So it's perfect for this neutral Valentine's Day color scheme. Look how shiny it is. The only thing I've noticed about those candle holders, they are very fragile, so you have to be careful with them. Since I'm doing glass to glass, I'm going to do a really strong glue. I used the Gorilla Glue clear grip and went all over the top of the candle holder here. And then I'm going to do it backwards, where I put the candle holder upside down and sit this one on top of it and let that start to set up. I don't really have room to add hot glue to this one, so I'm going to have to let that dry on its own. I just added a little ivory votive candle from the Dollar Tree to this, and we have a little DIY Valentine's Day lantern with a real candle in it. Super cute. I love that soft pink color. I think that's so pretty and romantic. And I think the base of it looks kind of cool, right? It kind of looks like a lantern, like a little tiny Valentine's Day lantern was my goal with this DIY. Let's light this and see what it looks like lit up. Just a plain ivory candle from the Dollar Tree. I think it would be fine with white in there as well. Super cute. So let me show you what this Valentine's Day candle looks like lit up. Very fun, and I love a good candle DIY no matter what the season. You can use electric candles in yours, but I prefer the real candle if I can make it work. And I think this turned out really pretty. What do you guys think about our little Valentine's Day little mini candle lantern? So fun. For this DIY, I thought we could do a neutral Valentine's Day vase using a glass bottle from the Dollar Tree and some of the Dollar Tree florals. I want to add some fun texture to this with the neutral Valentine's Day color scheme. So I'm going to use some burlap from the Dollar Tree for this to cover the side of the bottle. This is a glass bottle from the Dollar Tree. It's one of the light up bottles, but it's kind of very similar to like a glass soda bottle. You could always use that as well. Or like a thinner vase. You're not going to need something super big because we're only going to use like one bunch of the Dollar Tree flowers. Since Dollar Tree has increased their prices on florals, I've tried to be limit my flower consumption a little bit. Now, I don't want a lot of burlap, so what I did was I found out how big I wanted it to be. I pulled one strand of the burlap. It gives you this great lane here to be able to cut a perfect straight line in your burlap. So that's definitely an important hack when you're working with burlap. It works really well. I'm going to kind of straighten up my side here too. As you can see, it was kind of crooked, so I just peeled off some of the excess material there and cut that straight too. And we can cover the bottle. I love the decorative glass bottle, so I didn't want to cover up any of that. So I made my burlap the right size to be able to cover the part there of just the glass. I pulled another strand so I'd be able to cut a straight line right there in the burlap, and I'm going to have enough to, I think, overlap it slightly here on the back. I just attached it with a little hot glue, and we're just going to make a little burlap sleeve here for this bottle to make it into a really cute little neutral Valentine's Day vase. I just glued the burlap to itself once I glued the first part onto the glass directly, and I think that looks pretty good. I wanted to add like a few hearts to the front of it, but I wanted like a really tiny heart. And I was able to find these little wood cutouts at my Dollar Tree, and I saw some hearts in there. So I went ahead and picked these up. These were also just Crafter Square items, kind of a miscellaneous items that you see sometimes at Dollar Tree, sometimes store specific though. And I'm going to just have three of them, I think, going down the bottle. They're very similar to the ones from the Valentine's Day aisle, maybe a little bit smaller. I'm going to hot glue them on, leaving them just natural wood. It goes perfect for the neutral color scheme on this, and it's a fun decoration for the front of our vase. So I think the vase is ready to go. Definitely neutral Valentine's Day, but the pop of pink is going to come from these beautiful roses that I found from the Dollar Tree. Now, these are already together here on a bunch, and I'm going to leave them like that. I don't really like the green leaves on these though. They don't really go with the neutral color scheme. They're just too dark. So what I did was I just popped off all of my roses and pulled the leaves off, and I'm going to replace the greenery with some of the lamb's ear from the Dollar Tree because it is a soft enough green color to go with the neutral Valentine's Day color scheme. I am going to leave them all still together like this. I think I will be able to add this to the vase, add lamb's ear to it too to look like the greenery and make it look fuller. The only thing I didn't really like is the way the stems looked inside the glass bottle because you could see through. So we will add some material to that as well. I had a little scrap piece of lamb's ear here, and then I also had one branch of it. And I think I should be able to work it in between the roses like that to replace the greenery and give me that really soft color scheme. For this one, I want two branches, so I'm going to try to cut them evenly. So this one I can cut like right here. It's already kind of long. And then I can use kind of the longer stem here to make this one long as well. And I'm just cutting those with the pet nail trimmers from the Dollar Tree. They work great for wire and for greenery like this from the Dollar Tree. I did notice that some of the leaves were bent up, and whenever that happens on my DIYs, I like to give them a quick iron. I like to use my heat gun. You could also use like a blow dryer for this. And you can flatten these out and just make them look a lot better because sometimes they really get bent up, either in storage at Dollar Tree or however you store your florals. So I'm going to add the greenery here and kind of arrange it a little bit. That's when I was like, I like that the burlap is covering most of the vase, making it look really pretty, but I didn't really like the fact that you could see like the different stems on those. So let's go ahead and add some Dollar Tree sand to this. I'm going to use white sand. You could always use tan for this as well too. Either one would look great. And I'm using one of the little craft funnels from the Dollar Tree to easily add this. I always have this on my crafting station, one of these craft funnels. They make sand and like smaller items like that just so much easier when you have a little funnel to use. And then we're going to add the florals. Now, it does take some arranging to get the greenery like right where I want it to make it look like it's part of the roses. And so I'm just going to kind of add those to that. And here is my little third bunch of greenery. I think I need all three to make it nice and full, but I noticed that you could still see the stems. So I don't think I added enough sand. So I'm going to try to add a little bit more here. So I left the florals all kind of together, added more sand to my bottle, maybe too much, but then I decided it might be a little bit easier to arrange these if I did them in individual pieces. So that's what we're going to do. I added my flowers back to the vase and added all of my greenery. And really, the only time consuming project of this was messing with my florals to try to get them just right. But I'm so glad that I ended up replacing the greenery with the lamb's ear. It's so soft and fuzzy. I think it's really pretty. And this little vase turned out so romantic. It's neutral Valentine's Day, but it's almost a little bit French country too, which is a really fun theme to do for Valentine's Day as well. I did a video like that last year here on my channel. Now I'm going to add the sand all the way to the top. I'm still using the funnel. That way it covers all of the stem and you won't be able to see any of that in there. And this DIY is complete. Really easy. I love the soft pink color of the roses. I think they're perfect for Valentine's Day. I love the burlap on the front with the little wood hearts. Super cute. And I think those flowers actually look pretty high end from being from the Dollar Tree. I really love the lamb's ear. We have our glass bottle down here from the Dollar Tree filled with sand all the way to the top, and the burlap and the wood hearts on the front of it. Really pretty. A lot of these things are going to look great displayed together in a Valentine's Day display. Now, I wanted to make a long board sign, Valentine's Day sign. I had one left over from fall with a pumpkin cut out, but I'm just going to use that for the board sign, cut the pumpkin off, and we're going to add some hearts. These are some little heart frames I found at the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree, and I thought they were the perfect size for some burlap hearts on this. So I'm going to cut the pumpkin off, and I am just going to drill some new holes in it so I can still attach a hanger. So what I did was I just used the old board sign that I cut for a reference, and then I can just kind of mark where the holes were on this, so I can just go in and drill some holes to make an easy hanger for the sign. I do want it to be a vertical sign like it was before, so I just broke out my drill, drilled a few holes in this, and then I can just replace the hanger on it. Now, it is a nice wood finish, but I wanted mine to be ivory because I'm going to be wrapping the little wood hearts with burlap. So I thought the burlap and the hand wood sign would be like too much the same color. I do like the wood grain on the sign though, so I'm trying to keep my paint like a rather thin coat of paint so you can still see the wood grain through it. It's going to give it a rustic touch, perfect for neutral Valentine's Day. Once I got that painted, I just went ahead and gave that a quick dry, and then I just reattached the hanger that came on it. I do end up replacing it because as you can see, it's like super short. I don't know why it's so small like that. And we are going to cover the hearts now. I thought this was a pretty good value. You get two of these together. I don't necessarily want them to be frames though, but I did like the chunky size and the heart shape. And so I want to see if I can wrap these with burlap. So the first thing I did was just pull the rope out of the back of these. I like to work with odd numbers for decor, so I'm going to use a total of 3. We'll save the other heart frame for another project, I'm sure. And then I just went ahead and tried to clean up any staples or anything on there too. And they have like little paper pieces in there and like little staples to keep. There's no like plastic or glass or anything in these frames, but I do want to go ahead and get rid of the staples and try to make this as plain wood as I can. Now, if these would have just been plain wood hearts, that would have been ideal. And you can see what you can find from the Dollar Tree. They do have a chunky wood heart they have every year for Valentine's Day that's a little bit thicker. I think that would work well for this project as well. I have two of them and I didn't have a third one. So I decided to give these heart frames a chance. Now, to cover the little cutout in there, I'm going to use masking tape. It's a very similar color to the raw wood. And as you know, burlap has like an open weave. You can see through it. I wanted to make sure that you could not see the cutout through. So I'm testing it with a few pieces of tape on there to see if I could see through, and I could. I could see that there was like an opening in there. So I'm going to add a few more pieces of the masking tape. So a total of 2 layers that made it a little bit thicker. And then I decided to pop the little paper pieces back in there, the little cardboard pieces. I can add those back in there, this time with the white side facing out. And that will try to, close up that opening so you won't be able to see it through the burlap fabric. So I just glued that piece in on these, white side out. And I went ahead and did it on my other 2 hearts as well. Now I can cover them with masking tape as well. Masking tape works great for wood projects from the Dollar Tree. It paints well, it blends in well. I've used it to make lots of things. Like one time I made an actual 3D farm truck for fall, and I used a lot of masking tape, like in popsicle sticks with that one, and was able to make something really cute. And you can't tell that masking tape was kind of keeping the whole thing together. So I used 3 pieces of tape to cover it completely, and then I would go over each one with like 2 more pieces of masking tape. Now that the openings in these have been covered, we can cover them with burlap. I'm using that same piece of burlap, and I'm going to use one of the Dollar Tree chalk markers to sketch out a heart. I want to make it larger than the shape of the heart frame, so we'll have enough fabric to be able to completely wrap the heart, and we can have little burlap hearts on this sign. And then I went ahead and cut that piece out, and this is how we're going to wrap them. This one I could have made a little bit bigger because I do need to wrap it around the edges, and it was a little close call here, but I kind of started at the bottom, hot gluing that and wrapping the burlap around. Now I did have enough fabric, but it was a little touch and go on this one. So the remaining hearts I did make a little bit bigger. Then I switched to the top of the heart, kind of stretch that burlap material across and keep it nice and tight on the heart. And then we can go in and do the sides. There is a little bit of overlapping to be able to get the curved shapes like that, but I just tried to glue everything down. All of the fraying and any loose pieces of the burlap will all be hidden on the back here where you won't be able to see them. And that turned out really cute. It's exactly what I was looking for. Now, if you wanted to do like your burlap hearts in different colors of burlap or different fabrics, that would be cute too. But I think I'm going to use just the tan burlap material for all of mine. So as you can see, I made this heart bigger, and that did make it easier. It's okay if you have a little bit of excess fabric there on the back, as long as there's not too much. You do want to be able to still glue these little hearts down. So I went ahead and cut that one out too. Those little chalk writers like that from the Dollar Tree, be sure to pick some of those up. I really like the white one, and I use it a lot for crafting materials like this. So you can kind of sketch out a pattern for a simple DIY like this so you know exactly where to cut it down. And I went ahead and wrapped this one. As you can see, I had more fabric there in the back, so it was a little bit easier. And we have our second heart here for our sign. The only thing I'm not really liking about the long board sign from the Dollar Tree is that they're not very thick. And I couldn't find any thicker, like vertical signs from the Dollar Tree. So I am going to frame it to try to make it look a little bit better. You'll see here in the last step. And here is our third and final heart. I cut this one probably even bigger, but I was still able to hide all of the fabric here on the back, just kind of working one section at a time. And you do want to wrap it as tight as you can so it can get all of those curved shapes around the sides of your heart. Now that we have these all covered with burlap, we can add these to our little Valentine's Day sign. I have the ivory, I have the tan burlap texture on here. I'm going to start with the middle one. I thought that would be a little bit easier to center. And I put hot glue here all around the edges at the lowest part, which is basically where the fabric was. And I centered that right on the sign. I do kind of need to look at it like more vertically so I can make sure everything is spaced including being like spacing it in the center of the sign, like left to right. And I do want to space these out a little bit as well. So here is our second burlap heart. I think they just look so beautiful wrapped in the burlap. It makes them look really high end. And our third and final heart here at the top. Super cute. Now, it's not very colorful yet. I do have some ideas to try to bring a little bit of soft pink into this. And again, I do want to frame it. I am trying a new rope though. This is a rope I picked up at Walmart. It is, let's see, the Hyper Tough Twisted Sisal rope. And the price on that was around $7, but you're going to get 100 feet of rope. It does look a lot different than the rope from the Dollar Tree, so I wanted to try it out for a fun texture for the neutral Valentine's Day DIY. As you can see, the sisal on this just really looks different than like the fuzzier sisal that they use for the rope at the Dollar Tree. It was really difficult to cut. I tried some heavy duty like KitchenAid scissors, and that was able to saw through this material, but I do like it. It does have lots of strings like coming out of it, like the Dollar Tree rope. A little bit kind of more prickly though, like less fuzzy of this rope. If you can tell, the texture is just way different. And I liked it. It was a fun material to craft with. And I just wanted to test out some different ropes from some other craft stores to see if I, found something I liked better. And I do like the contrast. I think that the regular brown rope from the Dollar Tree would be cute on this too. It would still go with the neutral Valentine's Day color scheme, but I thought we would give this a try. I'm using one piece, hot gluing it all the way around. All the edges are a little bit rounded, except for here where I'm going to start and stop. And so I did try to cut this, trim this up, hot glue it here in the corner to give it a little bit more of a curved appearance if I could, and made like that transition blend in a little bit better. Now, burning off the fuzzies with a lighter was definitely the tricky part of this rope. That was the only part of the rope that I didn't like, was that it's so light in material that you could kind of see like when the fibers were burned a little bit. So I did have to trim it with scissors as well, as not all pieces of it burnt out. And as you can see, I have like the stringy material like on the inside of the border as well. So I did have to try to go in there with my lighter and burn that too. And it definitely needed to be done because it made like the rope look a little bit sloppy. And I definitely wanted to, or I think burning is easier than trimming it all off with your scissors, but I did have to go in there with my scissors and trim it up a little bit too. Some of the pieces like just didn't burn all the way down, but I cleaned it up and I like the look of it. It's just a different variety of rope. I decided that the hanger though was just too short, the one that came on it. So I'm going to add my own hanger. I'm just going to take some twine, and I like to bring mine in from the back, knot it on the front. I find that the thinner signs from the Dollar Tree hang flatter against my wall if I go from the back and knot it on the front. So just going to knot it a couple of times to make sure it doesn't come through the holes that we drilled on there. Now for some little pops of soft pink, I decided to use the little wood hearts from the Crafter Square at the Dollar Tree, the little tiny wood hearts, and I thought we could do a pink heart in each corner for a little bit of blush pink. So I'm using this paint sample that I got, which was a very soft pink, but I had to add a little bit more pink to it to make it look pink because it was just super light. And I'm going to simply paint these with a little sponge brush. The paint did like to pool in the center hole of these, so I'm just going to use my Cricut weeder to kind of clean that up. But I thought that would be a fun little touch that I could add to the sign. I like the burlap hearts. I want to leave those alone. I don't really want to add any colors, and I don't really want to add a bow or anything to this sign. So I thought we could do a little pop of pink in each color with these little wooden hearts. So I'm just going to attach these with hot glue, just centering one in each corner, just like that. And I thought that added a little bit of color to this without taking away from the design. Then I decided I could also add maybe some pink beads to the hanger. That would also be another fun pop of pink. So I took some wood beads from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to try to paint these. I just put these on the end of a paintbrush. An easy way to paint these. The only thing is, if you're painting a lot of them at the same time, like I am, you're going to kind of miss the top or the bottom where they're next to each other. So I just popped those off and did the top and the bottom, painting those as well. And then I think we can add just a little pop of pink, adding these to it. I did go over them with a second coat because I thought that you could see a little bit too much of the wood coming through and I wanted them to be very soft pink. But I'm also trying to be very careful that I don't add too much paint. I don't want any paint to get trapped on the inside of the wood bead and will eventually get on my hanger of burlap twine that I have there at the top. So the paintbrush is a great way to avoid any paint pooling on the inside. And once I got those on there, I'm just going to cut this. I probably should have done this before I attached the new hanger, but the wood beads were a last minute decision here. I'm going to add some here for each side. I went ahead and strung them all on. I did a total of 4. That way I could have 2 wood beads on each side. And then I just popped this back through and retied the twine. I had it plenty long enough before, so I had plenty of material to do that with. And this is how it turned out, our little neutral Valentine's Day heart sign. Super cute, just using any kind of long board sign from the Dollar Tree, especially since you're painting it. It doesn't even have to be the wood one. You could use the black ones as well. And I always have some of those left over in my stash from different seasons. You could also use the wood ones from the Crafter Square. They're kind of a similar size once I cut it down like this. For this DIY, I'm going to use one of the beaded wood hearts from the Dollar Tree, and I picked up one of these Christmas trees at clearance, the Christmas aisle at the Dollar Tree. You might have some still left over in your stash. Basically, I just want the wood dowel and the wood slice here at the bottom for an easy stand so we can display this beautiful heart from the Dollar Tree. And I told you guys to pick some of these up for DIYs, and this is one reason why I like to use these. It's just easier than making it yourself, but you could always take a wood slice, drill a hole in it, put a Dollar Tree wood dowel down inside. I decided to shorten mine. I just used my miter scissors to cut that a little bit shorter. And then I'm going to remove a little sawtooth hanger here on the back of this heart. This is perfect for neutral Valentine's Day. The white weathered wood beaded heart. I love this from the Dollar Tree. I'm so glad they have these again this year. But I do need to drill a hole in the bottom. Now, this part was a little tricky. I had to lay the heart down because I didn't really have a safe way to do this. I didn't have like a vise or anything to hold this to be able to drill down with, but I was able to get started drilling my hole just by laying it down like that. I'm trying to be really careful here. I don't want to injure myself with my drill and trying to make the hole large enough here for the wood dowel. Now, since I was drilling it kind of at an angle, I didn't really get the straight hole in it that I wanted. So I added some hot glue and added my dowel to this. As you can see, it did drill all the way through and it didn't go straight up to the back. It kind of went out the back like that, which made my heart really like tilt forward more than I want. Now you have just enough room on the bottom of this heart to drill a hole, so it is a little bit tricky. I think I can try again though and try to straighten that out a little bit. This time I'm going to try to drill straight all the way up, and it did come through too, but that's okay. I can always go back and cover it with some white paint. So I added some hot glue, glued my stand back in there. This time it worked way better. I got an upright display piece just like I was wanting. So it's definitely tricky to drill a hole in the bottom of the heart to display it like this, but it turned out so cool. It was such a fun way to display it. Now, as you can see, it's already distressed with some of the brown wood coming through the white. I love that. So I just took a piece of sandpaper and I went over it and distressed it even more. It's going to bring out more brown, more distressing. It's going to be perfect colors for my neutral Valentine's Day color scheme. I took some white paint and kind of touched up here where I drilled all the way through the heart. But at least I was able to get the hole straight in there that time, and it worked out so much better. I think it looks so cute. What do you guys think about the little wood bead heart from the Dollar Tree? I've crafted with this before, and I always love it. Now, for a touch of soft pink, I'm going to use the very light pink sheer ribbon from the Dollar Tree. Very, very subtle. And I am going to just tie a simple ribbon here. I did have a little bit of difficulty with this sheer ribbon trying to get a little tiny bow on here. And I just kind of worked with it until I was able to get it as small as I can. I don't want it to take away from the heart. I just want it to be a fun little accent piece on here. And of course, our little touch of pink that I tried to add to all of today's DIYs. My son is home and he was like, I think the neutral Valentine's Day needs some color. And I'm like, I agree. I'm going to add pink to everything just to give it a little bit of color, but keep it still neutral. So I kind of messed with my bow and trimmed it till I got it exactly the way I wanted it. It would be cute here, but I think I'm going to scoot it up right here at the very bottom of the heart to finish off this DIY. Look how cute this wood heart is from the Dollar Tree. This is like a home decor item at my Dollar Tree, so not necessarily found with Valentine's Day. So be sure to check your stores for it because my stores just got them back in. And if you have any of those little trees from the Dollar Tree, the little plush trees, you can use the base of it to make a simple DIY like this. Hey guys, now it's time for the final reveal. Please let me know down in the comments below which DIY today was your favorite, or just come say hello. I love reading your comments. This is my QR code if you would like to buy me a coffee, and you can find me at Crafty Beach on YouTube on all social media. Enjoy the final reveal.
Show the limits with you right now. So what's your feelings? The city's screaming, we're not coming home tonight. We're living quick in this world, gonna get it right now. People talk and tell what you wanna hear, they all disappear, they will let you down. So we better stick together, let's come whatever, we're not coming home tonight. We're living quick in this world, gonna get it right now. We only need the two of us together. We only need the two of us together. 'Cause we got love. 'Cause we got love. You wanna get to me close, why don't you do it right now? You know we met for a reason, but you trying to deny that we should be together. It's heavy weather, we're heading for tonight. You better take what you can, 'cause the time is right now. We only need the two of us together. 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 'Cause we got love. 'Cause we got love. We only need the two of us together. I need only you in this crazy world. We got love.
Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of today's video. I'd also like to give a huge thank you to all of my YouTube members for supporting my channel. Thank you to Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Janae Farrington, Pamelia Wren, Donna Schreiner, I Am Mojo Jojo, Marin Christensen, Adrian Brolt, Debbie Middleton, Red Mama, Pal Puppy Life, Renee Albanese, Jenny, Debbie Austin, James Osborne, and Lizette Thomas. Thank you so much for your support. You guys are all going to get early ad-free access to my content here on YouTube, which is the great thing about being a member. We would love it if you would join us. Now, would you like more Valentine's Day Dollar Tree DIYs? Be sure to check out one of these DIY videos right here. And until next time, happy crafting for Valentine's Day.